And here we go today. Sallust. Post porcos dies. Post is a preposition. This is a prepositional phrase. After a few days, el sanius senator. It's an apposition. So the senator el sanius in senato, in the Senate, literas, this is a singular word, a letter, he recitavited. So he recited in the Senate a letter, quos, which, it still has the AS, which from this place here, Faisule, Dicabat, he was saying, imperfect, which he said was adlatus. Here's the AS again, from the supine form of it, which was adlatus to him. In quibus, in which scriptum erat was written. Now we have, see Manlian in Erota Obliqua, a reported speech. He says that Manlius had taken up arms with a magna multitude. And so that's a ablative with cum. We have abex de cum sine pro, take the ablative. Before the DM, 7 calendars Novembris, which is 6 days before, antes before, calendars of November. So that would be the 27th of October. And I just want to say this thing on Sallust style from the Latin Library where we download. It says, some of them of Sallust oddities. Contracts erunt to ere, a lot of people do that. Ellipsis, so we'll use dictum, where you would expect to see dictum est. He has ascendion, which is the omission of conjunctions, using strings of clauses without connectors. Frequent lists of the historical infinitive, which we saw yesterday, massive infinitive freak. Sallust is in love with the historical infinitive. Short clauses, the archaic spelling, which I pointed out in the first day, he uses umus, like maxume. And that's about it from there. And I've got a thing on postpositions here. So, Latin has a number of post-positive words, so autem, anum, ergo. And we have Cato the Elder and Sallust begin sentences with igitur, which are usually post-positive. So that should be the second word. It should follow the first word. And back to the plot. Simul, the same time, id quod, it's the neuter, which is solid, accustomed to happen in such matters. So the thing which is accustomed to happen in such matters, alia, some people or other people, portenda and prodigy nuntiabat, some people were announcing portends and prodigies, and we have the correlative here of alia again, and other people, fieri conventus, they were coming there to have a gathering, arma portari, arms were being infinitive, being carried, capua and in apulia, servile bellum, bellum is neuter. There was movements for civil war, or the slave, servile is literally slaves are being moved towards a war or some sort of revolution. Igitur is one of those postpositions that usually comes second, which we saw coming first. So then we have an ablative senati decrete. With the Senate having made a decree, or there was a decree from the Senate, that Q Marcius Rex, this is a capital letter, so it's not king, Q Marcius Rex, we have an accusative of this place up here. Faesulus means from there, and the accusative means to there. So Q Marcius Rex, something to there. Q Metellus Cretius in with the accusative to Apulia, motion towards, which means into or towards. Circumque, which is a preposition, and around, ea loci, around this locale, missi, it's plural, they were sent. So this dude and this dude were missi, they were sent to Faesulus and Apulia. Hi, which means these people, it's plural, utrique ad urbem, to each side of the city. Here we pick up with these high imperators. These are generals or leaders, errant, they were ad to each side of the city. Impeditae, they were impeded or stopped, nay, triumpharent, so they could not have triumphs. calumnia pecorum, by calumnia of the people, which can be objections or shams or trickery or some objection of the pecorum, which are a few people. Quibus, by which omnia honesta and inhonesta, so everything which was honest and dishonest, mos erat, was a custom, taking the infinitive to sell. So everything honest and dishonest, it was their custom of these pecorum, these few people, to it was their habits to sell all types of things. Said praetors, but the praetors, Q Pompeius Rufus, Capuam, means it's accusative to there, so Rufus was sent to Capua, Q Metellus Celer, into Agram Picenum, into the lands or territory of Picenae, and eos qui, is the enclitic, eos means to them, permissum, so there should be permissum est or something, but like we saw, Sallust doesn't use that a lot. Ut, that, pro tempore and periculo, another little phrase there, because of the time and the danger, they comparent, they procured an exercitum, they procured armies, an army, singular. So these praetors one went to Capua, one went to Picenus, and it was permitted for them, because of the time and the dangers, that they could gather together or prepare an army. Okay, so we'll have a daily dictionary word from the downloaders. A calumnia. There's also a verb, which is the deponent, calumniator. Calumnia. Sham, false accusation, claim, pretense, objection, find fault, and I've got set up from the Wiktionary. Cunning device, trickery, artifice, sophistry, chicanery, pretense, evasion, subterfuge, misrepresentation, fallacies, and in trials it's malicious things like that. Okay. So, ad hoc to this, see quiz. If there's anyone indicar visit who makes any indications, de Coniuration concerning the conspiracy. So if anyone had information of the conspiracy, quae, which was contra republica, facta erat, so which had facts to do with it, which had something to do with the matter or the deed of this thing against contra the republic, a premium, which is a reward, would be to a servo, to a slave, libertatem and sestertia centum, 100,000 sestertis in their freedom, to a libero, contrasting to the servo, to a freedman. He would be unpunished in the re, in the matter, and sestertia ducentimilia, in 200,000 sestertis. Itemque, and the same people, this would be the Senate, I'm guessing, they decreveret, is the shortened version, and so the same Senate decreed, ute, that the Familia Gladiatoria, the gladiatorial groups, to Capua and in Cetra, and then the rest municipias, these are Italian towns, they would be distributed pro quisque opibus, according to each's resources. That's what the pro means. Locative at Rome, per the totem urbem, for the whole city, haberentor vigila, they would have watchmen. It would have watchmen. Vigilant means staying awake, etc., being alert. And eos, to these, looks dative. Minores magistratus, these are the lesser magistrates, these people with some power, they will be praescent, they would be in charge, eos, of these. Okay, so the lobe has a little footnote. The magistrates below the rank of praetor, especially the treviri capitals, who were responsible for maintaining public order and oversaw the execution of criminals. This was probably adapted earlier on October 21st or 22nd. Okay. Quibus rebus, ablative. With these matters done, quibus, with these actions, you might want to say, rebus can be matters or circumstances, the civitas were promoter. The citizenry was moved, very so they would be scared, and the facies erat, which is the face or the outward appearance of the urbis, of the city, was immutata, was changed. Ex summa latetia, from the peak of happiness, and lascivia, which is wantonness, and etc., which diaturna quies pepera, which the long time quiet or rest had spawned or produced or gave birth to. Repente, suddenly, omnis, to all. Tristitia had invaded, so sadness had come into this place where there'd been happiness, etc. Festinare trepidare, historical infinitives most likely. The infinitive is used in place of an indicative imperfect. So if you know how to make subjunctive ones, you add like S and T, etc. on the end. That's, it's imperfect. So they hurried about. They're in trepidation. Nequi loqui, nequi homine. Neither in a place nor a man to any one of these was anyone satisfactorily trusting or believing in them. Nequi bellum gere. Neither were they gererating war, conducting a war. And neque were they haberating pacem. Neither were they having peace. Suo quisque. So each one. Periculum materi. So everyone was measuring out the periculum, which is a danger. It's a neuter, by their own fear. So the suo, using each person was measuring by their own standard of fear the periculum, the dangers. Ad hoc to this, the mulieres, the women, by which or which the women which. By the magnitude, it's ablative of the republic, so the size of the republic, timor insolitus, their unaccustomed fear of war, belli of war, had incesserated, come in. So this fear of war had entered them. They had flictorade, say. They attacked themselves, so they hit themselves. Their manus, which is their hands, supplicus, they were supplicating, and they tenderate, extended, or aim their hands to the caelum, to the sky. Miserare, they were having pity on parvos libros, on small children, probably their own. Rogatare omnia, they were asking about everything. Omne rumor parvere, they were fearful of every rumour. Ad ripere omnia, so they were ad riperang everything. And the superbia, which is the haughtiness or proudness, and the delicacies, this is like pleasures, omissus. So they go together. So they omitted or left out all their arrogance and their pleasures, and they were diffiderating, distrustful, taking the dative, for themselves and their fatherland or their homeland. That's it for the day. We've got this one section left. At Catilinae. But of Catiline, the credulous animus, his cruel spirit, was moveabating, was moving these same things. So the cruel animus of Catiline, moving these same things, iadem. Temetsi, though, or although, presidia, which is garrison or a defence, looks like a defence was parabantored. Presidia comes from presidium, which is a neuter plural. So the protection or defence was prepared, and ipse, and himself, interrogatus est, so he was interrogated or held for questioning under the lex plautia, some sort of law, by El Polo. So El Polo had detained him or was interrogating him, or some legal action was going on by this plautia law. You could probably Google it. Postremo, so finally, causa, this is a postposition. Sometimes I get confused with those postpositives, but it's a postposition for the sake, follows a genitive, for the sake of a pretense, ought, or, for expurgendi, these are gerunds, of clearing sua himself, clearing his name, sic, just as if, for at lacessus, if he had been provoked by a Eurgio, which is like insulting sort of thing. He venated into the senatum, motion towards with the accusative. So he came into the Senate. Now that law, the Plautine law, covered acts of violence such as unlawful use of a weapon or the occupation of public places with armed men. Okay. They charged Catiline's followers with complicity in an armed insurrection. That's it for the day.